kills a vehicle driver, leaving one person with major injuries. Legacies of Margaret Ekpo and need for women's inclusion in politics in focus. Plus, Federal High Court sitting in Abuja rules on local government autonomy. Details of this and more in just a moment. Good evening, this is Nta Calabar News at 7. I am Aurelia Jomnan, the news in detail. In the past, women were subjected to discriminatory biases that hindered their opportunities to be heard or to hold leadership positions. However, the lives of the late political activist Margaret Ekpo blazed the trail by fighting for their rights, providing a foundation for active participation of women in politics. Years after these feats, are today's women in politics following the strategies she applied for inclusiveness? Justina Etim finds out.
In this tomb lies the remains of a leading member of a class of traditional women rights activists, late Margaret Ekpo, who spearheaded the Aba women riots protesting against economic oppression and restriction of the role of women in government in an era where men dominated politics.
There was some strike in Enugu by miners because they were not treated well. Margaret Ekpo mobilized women to speak for those men, and the colonial governments then had to look into that. It was through her that women realized that you could get into politics and get into the position you want to be. She was the voice of the voiceless.
Margaret Ekpo is she's an institution. She started out by having a sense of equity and justice and fairness. She wanted something that was right. She was someone who just was not given to accepting situations that just were not just.
The exploits of Margaret Ekpo in politics no doubt opened a new chapter for inclusiveness, with more women vying for elective positions in Nigeria, while in cross-river states, women like Senator Florence Itagiwa and Ambassador Nkoyo Toyo have already made a mark in the green and red chambers.
Women should not just sit down in the house and feel that God will send manna from heaven for them. They should go out. They should look at other women that have achieved and also know that they can equally achieve.
Though statistics shows that women participation in politics in the country has remained at 6.7% in elective and appointive positions, which is far beyond global average of 25.5%. A female governorship aspirant, Nta Adegoke, is optimistic that with the right strategies, more women will not only hold leadership positions, but will break the barrier and become governors and even a president, which has never been in the political history of Nigeria.
One of the things we're doing is participating. So participation is key. And we're not participating to be settled. When we begin to participate and take it as a true passion and vision. And you're not just participating because you just want to participate. You should participate because you have a vision, you have a purpose, you have what you want to achieve. And usually it's for the betterment of the majority of the society, not just for a select few.
Women have over the years shown capability in the management of human and material resources, and women politicians say if given the opportunity to lead, this gender will make significant impact and enthrone good governance. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has pushed forward the date for the resumption of plenary from 24th May to Tuesday, 7th June 2022. A statement from the Office of the Clerk, House of Representatives, Yahaya Dan Zaria, explains that the shift is due to the ongoing party's primaries in preparation for the 2023 general elections. members of the House, staff, media, and general public have been urged to note the 2 weeks extension for the reconvening of plenary. And screening exercise for presidential aspirants of the All Progressives Congress, earlier scheduled to hold today, has been postponed. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, said a new date for the exercise will be announced. As political parties' primaries elections gradually draw near, presidential aspirants on different political platforms are touring from one state to another to seek support from delegates. The latest is a PDP frontline aspirant and former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, who visited the Cross River State People's Democratic Party Secretariat to meet the state executives and delegates on his presidential ambition. And then tells us more.
The visit is primarily for the Anambra State ex-governor to consult and canvass for support of PDP Cross River State delegates on his ambition to contest for president of Nigeria, with the primaries coming in few weeks. The former governor emphasized he is better equipped in all facets to deliver Nigerians from poverty if given the mandate first at the May PDP primaries and then at the 2023 general elections.
Whereas we invest in human infrastructure, then the physical infrastructure will follow. My message is simple. Pull Nigeria from sharing to creating, from consumption to production. Pull people out of poverty.
The presidential aspirant, who was accompanied by the leader of the campaign team, eulogized his unprecedented achievements in previous offices held.
Say no to mediocrity. There lies the success in your destiny. If they rubbish Peter today, you have no future tomorrow. For as long as we allow mediocrity to prevail and superintend over integrity, honor, and expertise, we will be destroying the future of these young people who sit here. God forbid.
The PDP state chairman, Venatius Ikem, promised to work towards ensuring that PDP takes over the office of the president comes 2023 general elections.
As a generation, always hearing that it will be better until we have become old. And things are not getting better. We pray, like you have said, that the generation coming up could do something serious to change this narrative.
The PDP aspirants has since departed the Cross River State capital. In Calabar, Arit Ndem, NTA News.
Similarly, the People's Democratic Party flag bearers for the Enugu State House of Assembly and the House of Representatives seats in the 2023 general elections have emerged through the party primaries held in the state. Both elections were supervised by the electoral committees from the National Office of the party and monitored by officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Susan Eze has more.
It's our intention that those who are sending into the field will carry out this assignment as directed under free and fair atmosphere, rancor-free atmosphere.
The Electoral Committee for the Enugu State Assembly primary elections, led by Mr. Uche Ibokwe, distributed the election materials and addressed the returning officers and other party stakeholders before taking off for the supervision. The team visited election centers in Udenu, Nsukka, and Enugu East local government areas.
We have gone to several local governments and we have seen that everything is going on perfectly well in the Enugu State. I have seen the stand for the Independent National Electoral Commission officials monitoring the security agencies that have made it possible for us to stay here without any challenges. I commend you all.
The committee expressed satisfaction with the peaceful conduct of the primaries and commended party stakeholders in the state for a well-organized exercise. The Committee for the House of Representatives primaries also supervised the exercise in the state. The electorate that voted for both elections comprised of the 3 elected ad hoc delegates, 1 national delegate, and 1 physically challenged person. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
You are watching news reaching you from the studio of Nta Calabar. You can watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Nta Calabar. We'll take a break and the news continues shortly. Welcome back to the news. The federal government has approved the appointment of Anemekwe Chukwunyere Nwabuku to oversee the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, following the ongoing investigation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission of the Accountant General of the Federation for financial impropriety. In a letter dated 20th May 2022 and signed by Aliyu Ahmed, Permanent Secretary, Finance, Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the appointment is pending the outcome of the investigation. In this position, Mr. Anamekwe is expected to carry out his duty in strict compliance with extant rules and observe the highest sense of professionalism expected of an officer working at his level. Away from there, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has dismissed the suit filed by the 36 states attorneys general against the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit for implementing its policies on managing local government funds. The guidelines limited the cumulative amount that can be withdrawn from a local government account to no more than 500,000 naira per day. The plaintiffs had argued that the guidelines violated the state's financial autonomy enshrined in the 1999 Constitution, but the court held that the case was unfounded. In May 2019, the NFIU, in line with the NFIU Act, issued some guidelines to protect monthly allocations of local governments from the overpowering influence of state governments. And now to education matters. The General Secretary of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, Peter Adeyemi, says the federal government has commenced paying NASU members the arrears of the consequential adjustment of the national minimum wage, though not all members have received the payment so far. Adeyemi stated in a statement that no other financial commitment made to the unions has been actionized except the consequential adjustment of the minimum wage, which is not enough for the striking workers to suspend the ongoing industrial action, as there are 6 outstanding items yet to be acted upon. He states further that NASU cannot take a unilateral decision to suspend a strike that is being prosecuted under the auspices of the Joint Action Committee of both NASU and the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU. However, the union will be meeting on Tuesday in Abuja to consult with the members on the state of the strike. And engaging communities in early warning systems is crucial to saving lives, reducing damages, and protecting the environment from disaster events. 2022 Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction focuses in part on community inputs in implementing early warnings. Onengie Fanface tells us more.
On March 18, 2015, 187 member states at the United Nations World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction in Sendai, Japan, adopted what is now commonly known as the Sendai Framework to achieve substantial reduction of disaster risks and losses in lives, livelihoods, and health over the next 15 years. The framework has 7 global targets, including Target G, to substantially increase the availability of and access to multi-hazard early warning systems and disaster risk information by 2030. 7 years after the adoption of the Sendai Framework, it is estimated that a third of the world's population, mostly from developing countries, are still not covered by early warning systems.
Why does an individual take a decision to remain in a coastal region where there is anticipated storm surge, for example? So there are a lot of social and cultural considerations. I think there's a need for greater investment in the behavioral science and really understanding what drives persons to make specific decisions.
What I would call competing priorities. We have ongoing disasters that we have to deal with. And over time, these ongoing disasters overtake, preparedness and risk reduction activity.
This conference at the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction 2022 is taking stock of the situation with a view to reaching exposed and vulnerable populations, especially for communities in the African region. Disasters are set to strike at unprecedented rates. The conference therefore marks a time for increased global action to ensure that no one and no region is left behind. In Bali, Indonesia, Onengiye Fineface, NT News.
Let's now join Cynthia Ogun for updates on sports.
Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, has restated the commitment of the federal government towards sustaining the gains of the industry in the country. Dare was speaking in Abuja Monday while receiving the Flying Eagles, who conquered WAFA Zone B Under-20 tournament in Niamey, and Team Nigeria to the just concluded Maiden West African Scrabble Championship in Accra, where they won 3 trophies and 9 out of 10 prizes.
I want to welcome you back to Nigeria, Abuja FCT, on behalf of Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, and on behalf of all sport-loving Nigerians, to say thank you and congratulations.
In the meantime, hostilities commenced in the 2022 National Handball League Phase 1 Monday at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, with Benue Buffaloes defeating Seasider Boys 29-22 goals. Kano Pillars won their game against Police Machine by 29 goals to 15, while Confluent Stars beat Toje Marine Academy 37-27 in the men's category. In the women's category, Rima Queens beat Benue Queens 31-29, and Safety Babes saw off Seasider Babes 37-26. Tuesday, Day 2 will see Toje Marine Academy take on Police Machine, Benue Buffaloes versus Niger United, and Lagos Seasiders face Rima Strikers in the men's competition. Plateau Peacocks will be up against Rima Queens, Defender Babes meet Imo Grasshoppers, and Edo Dynamos file out against Seasider Babes in the women's fixtures.
We will still dominate. The preparation is good, and by the grace of God, we will take it.
With Sports Update, Cynthia Ogun, NTA News.
A middle-aged man was burned to death by suspected explosion at the Mauritania Mohammed Highway, Calabar, as a result of suspected adulterated diesel he carried in his vehicle. Odua Etam reports that the alleged explosion also left one other person in the vehicle with major injuries, and he is currently receiving medical attention.
As at the time NTN News crew visited the scene of the incident, eyewitness account has it that men of the fire service were on ground to prevent further escalation of the fire, but the corpse of the driver to the vehicle that conveyed the exploded diesel was still on the road, hindering free flow of traffic.
I do my work finish as I say I race. As this boss come, I just slow down to climb the bomb. I was here bomb one time. This fire starts small. People from help him. As I just bomb, you don't cover the motor. Don't cover the motor all. So conductor and driver there inside this bus. So conductor try to come out. He just come out for window. Yes, still fire just catch the cloth. Oh,
we struggled to see how we can off the light, but nowhere. We was afraid because the aim of the light was much. Even the heat, we cannot go close to that place.
What I will want government to do at this point is for them to try to identify the cough, the disease, and also see how they can take the person out of this place and the burn car.
As at the time of this report, the conductor who escaped with burnt injuries was taken to the hospital within the state capital for treatment. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
Finally, a recap of the major stories. Suspected diesel explosion along the Moritala Mohammed Highway has killed a driver, leaving one person with major injuries. Correspondents examine legacies of Margaret Ekpo and the need for women's inclusion in Nigerian politics. It is also in the news that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ruled on local government autonomy. That's it, and many thanks for watching our news. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.